Welcome to the Four Seasons Podcast, brought to you by B&H Wealth Strategies, serving Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia since 1966. Here, we guide you through the ever-changing seasons of your financial journey, offering insights to help you grow, protect, and enjoy your wealth. Ready to turn your financial dreams into reality? Dare to dream. And now, here's your host, President of B&H Wealth Strategies, Jeff Bingham.
A new generation is rewriting the rules of wealth building, from how they invest to what they value. Today, we're exploring the surprising shifts shaping the future of financial planning. Welcome back, everybody. Skip Montecoast and producer back in the studio with President of B&H Wealth Strategies, Jeff Bingham. And today, we're fortunate to also have in front of the camera Mr. Matt Bingham, Media and Marketing Director with B&H Wealth Strategies. Guys, welcome. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Skip.
Thanks, Skip. Good to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you both, and I think it's pretty appropriate to have Matt with us. As we were discussing before we started recording, Matt's part of the next generation, and today's topic is, how is the next generation's wealth building behavior changing? So I'd love to hear both perspectives from the old man. I'm kidding, and
No, you're not.
Matt as well.
Thanks for saying it, but no, you're not kidding.
I'm right behind you, brother.
I know my season.
So what stands out most about how younger generations approach saving and investing? How's it different?
Yeah, I'll kind of start, and then as we kind of go through this, and the funny thing would be if people watch this actually could see behind the scenes how we talked about this before we got on the air would even be better. As the old baby boomer, on the set here, I think how it's changing is that younger generation, the access, with all of the tools that are available out there, and you've got these different platforms that they are going to, and meme stocks and all of that. So I think the younger generation and COVID, I think, played a large role in this phenomenon with this cohort that we're going to talk about. Look at investing, in my opinion, more as a game, more as gambling, and I think the evidence to me seems obvious that is the situation. Doesn't mean that they're not putting money in 401k plans and doing those things if they have those available and whatnot, but it's more of a, like I said, and I don't think there's anything wrong with gamification of a lot of things. I think it's how we live life really is a game, but putting money away for your long-term thing. And is there a different way to build wealth than what the old tried and true are? I'd probably argue no, but I'll toss that over to Matt, let him kind of identify and touch on some of those things. But I think, like I said, I think gambling, both with investments, gambling, and sports, with the poly markets and all those things that are out there, the Robinhood platforms, crypto, has also kind of created that phenomenon as well. People that have listened know that I'm not opposed, and we actually use Bitcoin, but in some ways, and have some true belief in Bitcoin, but not in gambling with that type of asset. It is an asset that can be a long-term investment as well. So anyway, I don't know what Matt thinks about that.
You look at a lot of things that have happened over the last 30 to 40 years. The cost of living has gone up, a lot of wages have stagnated. And then so the ability for people, at least the feeling is among people my age, and especially even younger, is that the ability to slowly accumulate wealth is just not quite as good as it used to be. And then in addition to that, like he said, now you've got access to all these platforms, whether it's in sports betting or like with FanDuel and, all that kind of stuff, or whether it's Polymarket and Kalshi and those kind of things. People are seeing, well, I can just get this on my phone. I'm already playing. You might win a bet or two and you think, well, this is easy. I can make some money at this. And I think also anecdotally, I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but there was a Jeopardy champion, 10, 15 years ago, and he was a sports bettor. That's what he did. He made money off of it, and he was a very smart guy. He did very well on the show too. And I remember looking at him and being like, yeah, well, how many people like me and my age are going, well, if this guy can do it, like what a fun life that would be, just to go out there and just bet on things that you enjoy and make lots of money off of it. But obviously, it does not work that way for the vast majority of us. And it's risky behavior. It's something that, you should only be doing if you have disposable income that you want
Boom.
to set aside for it. Um, and otherwise it's really, I stay away from it personally. I don't do any sports betting. I don't do bets on Kalshi or Poly Market or any of that stuff. But I'll also say I get the temptation. I think about, oh, it'd be fun to place a bet on this or bet on that, but it's a slippery slope.
Very slippery slope. So obviously, technology has played a huge part in your generation and below, in how you learn about and access financial tools. I mean, obviously, everything's you know
Yeah.
available in your hand,
Yeah,
your
at the
pocket.
at the touch of your finger. Yeah, it's right there. So very
What
easy.
about what about values and like flexibility, lifestyle, social impact, social media too? How does that influence the younger generation's financial decisions?
So let me go back and I'll touch on, I think what Matt, a couple of things that he said right there that resonated with me, and with that, and this question, I think this all ties together. I think that the and I get, and like I said, I can understand it, but why people do this, and again, with the I mean, we talk about affordability, that you can't, that the system is rigged against, the small guys, certainly the younger guys, that my generation, that we get kicked around a lot now, that we've, we've accumulated all this wealth, we've created all this debt, and we're entitled to still all the benefits from the government, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's a lot of truth in that. Certainly, but again, what I heard Matt say was that you can't do it the way you used to do it over the long term. And I would push back on that immediately and say the reason why we don't think we can do it over a long period of time is because we have become what old guys like me call we have a microwave mentality. We want instant gratification, and nothing worthwhile comes easy and doesn't come immediate. There are no overnight successes. There is no overnight way to truly accumulate wealth to be able to take care of it. I mean, you can win the lottery, you can bet and do some of those kind of things, but there are so many more bad endings to that than there are good endings. But with social media, you hear about those that have succeeded in it. They're going to tell you you can do it. They're also going to, and so you're going to have these two things are coming at you. You can't do it the way you used to do it. The system is rigged against you, but we have these new opportunities to where you can make it. It's not that hard to do if you just follow it the way that I do it. You follow people, both the negative and the positive on those sides that are within social media, YouTube channels, all of the above, right? So there's so much. Again, it's those demons, those dragons that I was talking about, in one of our wealth effect episodes that we're talking about here, that are the same thing. They're present. They're always there, but they've always been there to a degree, right? But life and accumulation and all these, there is no easy button. You don't get, everybody wants to accumulate wealth and have money. Everybody wants to be in shape, and do the right things. But you know how you get in shape? You work out, you do it all the time, and it doesn't happen overnight. If you're starting from scratch, man, it takes a while, and you're not going to see the results tomorrow. You're not going to see them in a week. You're not. You might start seeing a little bit in a month and so on. But if you keep repeating that discipline, you will get in shape. You will lose weight, whatever your goal is from that perspective. If you are an investor and you put yourself on the payroll first and you do it this month, every paycheck, every month, every year, and you do that over a decade, multiple decades, you know what? You will have accumulated wealth, but you don't get wealth immediately. It's just not how it works. You work hard at it. You put yourself on the payroll. So I think the I think the whole I think there's we're just we've been co-opted into these quick fixes for everything. And there are no quick fixes in life, man. It's a journey, and it's a discipline to get up each and every day, regardless of what it is, whether it's saving money or just, doing your work, building relationships with your children, with your wife. You work at it every single day, where a day becomes a week and a week becomes a month and a month becomes a year. And all of a sudden I've got more money than I had in that instance. Sorry, that was I didn't mean to go into a TED talk there, but, uh, but that's, I mean, I get it, but I think gambling and having it legal, again, this is an old grouchy baby boomer, coming at it from a Christian perspective, says, I think having legalized gambling is absolutely absurd.
I would have to agree. I would have to agree. And it's funny you called part of this the microwave effect. People wanting instant gratification. I like to call that the Amazon effect, where you order online. My wife can hit a button on her phone, and the thing's in our front door the next day. I mean, um, Matt, what from your perspective, um, as we wrap up, what advice, if you have, if any, do you have for financial planning from your perspective, from the next generation? What key things do you need to keep in mind?
Well, I mean, I just the things that I've basically the advice I inherited from my father and from my uncle as well. Is just you need to, if you got a 401k, which I don't, but that would be something you would want to invest in. Or in my case, IRAs are what I
The
generally
equivalent, right?
put my savings in. A Roth or a non-Roth IRA. Um, those are the kinds of things I've looked into, and just very conservative, accounts that can grow you gradually over time, with minimal or no risk, if at all possible. So that's more or
You're
less.
probably the exception in your generation, for being conservative. I think risk assessment, I think, is different from younger generations
It
too.
probably, although I will say I am an elder millennial. I'm at the very back end of the millennial generation. I'm almost Gen X. I'm right on the borderline, but I do fall on the on the millennial side of the divide, I suppose. So
So a little more conservative than most, probably.
yeah, I'd say that's probably true. Yeah, I'm not a get rich quick kind of guy for sure, and that's not what I was taught as a young man. So yeah, definitely. If you knew my dad, yeah, that would be the understatement of the century. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
That's very, very, very true. Yeah, he comes from good stock, not just because he's my nephew, but yeah, but he comes from really good. He comes by that honestly and honorably, I would say.
thanks.
There, so, but yeah, I just it's the tortoise and the hare, right? I mean, all there these stories that ring true through the centuries. There's a reason why they ring true, and like I said, life is lived uphill, and nothing good comes easy, and that's the accumulation of wealth. You come up with a smart plan, you pay yourself first, you keep doing it, you repeat it over and over and over, and whether you're coming from my generation as a baby boomer, like we had it easy somehow, like all the markets worked well. It's like, well, the markets have been working pretty well recently. Now again, there was a long period in the early part of this century, the lost decade, in the, from 2000 to the end of 2009. And then we obviously had the recession at that end. But since that point in time, it's gone up. And so, but again, and I'll close it with this. I know I'm going long on this, but in a sense, this generation has been led to believe and it's interesting. They'll gamble on it to try to do it. They've also been led to believe that the system is rigged against them, and it's somewhat it is. But the system has also bailed out, created liquidity into the markets to drive the markets up, which has made the ability to not really have true, I would argue, some true economic cycles, that has made gambling and investing more a bit of an easier, somewhat easier, not complete. I don't misunderstand. There's all kinds of horrible stories out there, but it's made it a little bit easier, right? That it doesn't, markets don't go down and stay down very long. As soon as it goes down, well, that's when we need to, start playing in there or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird dichotomy of influences that, and that are intersect to create this instant gratification gambling society, from an investment to, or betting on anything. I mean, we bet on everything. It's crazy. So anyway, but it's anyway. I know I've gone over by saying that, but it is a bit of, if we can get back to some kind of normalcy, out there, and markets can, and I think they are a little bit now. There's a little bit more normalcy in the market because interest rates are a little more normal than they were for a very long period of time. I mean, we were, what we called lower longer from 2008, 2009 till 2022, the back half of 2022. Interest rates were, at or near zero for a long period of time. And
Right.
that's not normal by any stretch of the imagination. And that
Right.
led to some of this. So anyway, in social media. So anyway, long-winded answer there. Sorry. But I get
Not a problem.
pretty passionate about this kind of stuff here. So
Not a problem. And guys, can't tell you how much I appreciate the different perspectives. I think I learned a lot, and I'm sure our listeners did too. So thanks very much. And Matt, thanks for being on the show. And
you.
Jeff, we will see you guys in the next episode.
Sounds good, Skip. Thanks. Have a blessed weekend.
Thanks for tuning into the Four Seasons podcast, brought to you by B&H Wealth Strategies, where your financial success is our priority. Schedule your free 20-minute consultation today by calling 423-247-1152 or by visiting bhretire.com. Take the first step toward making your financial dreams come true. Until next time, remember, every season is the right season to plan for your future. Securities and registered investment advisory services offered through Silver Oak Securities, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. B&H Wealth Strategies and Silver Oak Securities, Inc. are not affiliated.